Hi, friends. So, we were talking about this book of Dr. B. Janki Raman, and I said that for the first subject, that is training, business strategy, and HRD, there are very good points that are covered over here. Same way here, we are talking about the subject instructional design. So, this instructional design subject is basically talking about, as the name suggests, how to design a strategy for the training. So, here it is talking about training needs analysis. What it is trying to do and trying to say is, number one, you should try to analyze the training needs. That is, you should try to see the frameworks, should try to see the models, try to see the approaches for designing and for identifying the training needs. Wherever and whenever you are trying to think over that, you want to, design a training for a particular organization, the first thing that you need to do is analyzing the need for the training in that organization. Now, when you are saying about training need analysis, it is also known as TNA. So, what you should do is your training need analysis should be linked with the training design. That is, when you are analyzing what is the need of the training, what you should do is you should try to connect it with the design. That is, somewhere you need to identify the objectives of the training. So, before many times, what happens is, as a trainer, we go, say, for example, there's a training on the soft skill, or there is a training on some, material management, or maybe there is a training on finance for non-finance executives, or maybe there is a training for the sales people, whichever is the type of the training that you are going for. But what we do is many times we don't know what is the objective of that training from the viewpoint of the organization. Why organization want to have that training? Now, if you have done that training need analysis, that would give you an idea about why that type of training is needed. Because many times, what happens is we give 1 hour or 2 hour or 4 hour or even full day training, but then at the outcome, if you know that when organization analyze the outcome, then it may happen that whatever was the objective of the training, that is not satisfied. So to be a good trainer, what is important is to analyze the training needs. Number two, match it with the training design. Now, this design aspect that I'm talking is with reference to how would you go for designing the methods of the training. So, in the third and fourth paper, we would try to see the methods of the training, but somewhere or the other way, you should connect the objective of the training to the design. Say, for example, the objective of the training is to provide, say, computer based some training, or maybe tele teaching. So for these type of training, you should design or you should plan your sessions on the desk, or maybe in the lab itself. Now, in that, if you go for a lecture method, it would not suffice the purpose. So the point is, what is the training need that you need to analyze, and accordingly what you should try to do is you should design the training itself, and for that you need to understand the objectives of the organization, right? So once you understand the objective of the organization, you would be very very clear in your mind that okay, I want to go for this training and the objective of the organization is this, and so need for the training is this, and so my design should be like that. Okay, and that way you would be able to transfer the learning to the people, right? So these subject basically is talking about, you should try to design the instruction material in such a way that it should go to the learner, it should lead to transfer of some learning from your end to the other end. And for that, three things are important. Number one, training needs analysis. Number two, try to analyze the objectives of the training. Number three, Once you know what is the need of the training, what is the objective of the training, you should try to analyze the and you should try to design the training accordingly. Once you design the training accordingly, it may happen that using different approaches, you would be able to transfer the learning to the people. And so at the end, the feedback is better. The important, rather than feedback, many a times, when you're taking a feedback, it can be Likert scale, say 5 to 1, or it can be say yes, no type of questions. Are you satisfied with the trainer or not? People are saying yes. And it may happen that you get a maximum score and the organization is also happy. But then in reality, when you ask yourself, then it may happen that you might not be happy at the end of the day, even if the scores and everything is fine. So the question is how you should identify the gap. So, the gap should not be afterwards. When the training is over, you cannot say that, now there was a gap and next time I would. There's never no next time. And so before you design, you should approach, or when organization approach you, you should ask what is the need, what is the objective, and what are the, levels of the people or the of the employees to whom you are going to train, and understanding their levels, according to the objectives, you should try to connect the dot, and you should try to freeze or frame your training design and the instructional material in such a way, and that would lead to the success of the trainer. So for this theories part here, for paper number 2, this instructional design that is covered in chapter number 2 and 3 of this book, Dr. B. Janki Ram, and chapter number 3 and 4 of the other book that you are having, Mr. Agosia. So these two books, Mr. Agosia and Dr. B. Janki Raman, that this whole subject is covered. So basically, we cannot say the whole subject, but somewhere or the other way, it is one of the very, very essential component of the training. And that's how this subject is talking about. So even when you are writing down the assignments or the question and answer in the papers for this subject, again, you should try to understand these approaches. That is identification of the training needs, and then identification of the objectives of the training, connect it with the different designs and the ways in which training can be conducted. Look at the level of the employees to whom you are going to impart the training, and then you should design the training. So in your answers also, conceptually, you can think this way, and then practically, you can link it with the case or the situation that is given to you. So whenever you are writing an answer, either of the assignment or of the question paper, what you should try to look into is always it should be backed by the concept in your mind. So say, for example, you have been given an example that you have to design training for the lower level employees, say supervisory level employees, and you need to design a program. You have been given certain situations, and according to that situations, you need to prepare a design of the training. So how would you do? Just think over for 2 minutes. So while you are writing these answers, your answer should be supported by the concepts that we are talking about right now. That is, say for example, if you are talking about a supervisory level program, what is the objective? What is the training need? Okay, what is the level of the employees? What are the design that we would adopted? Which method should you go for? If you go for X method, what are the advantages and disadvantages? If you go for Y method, what are the advantages and disadvantages? And then looking into the pros and cons of different methods, you should try to frame the design of the training. So this is all a short summary of the instructional design. If you have any query, you can just mail me. Thank you.